Hey everybody, welcome back to the Guys Night Lab. I'm Jesus, and I hope you've been enjoying our Halloween nights movie reviews this Halloween time. My faithful sidekick Jordan is not going to join us today, some might say it's actually going to be a better episode. Just kidding. But yes, we have a little over a week and a half left of Halloween time here. And I wanted to talk a little bit about, we've been talking about movie reviews and whatnot, but I want to take some time today to talk about something near and dear to my heart, something special that I love during Halloween time, and that is Halloween specials. We do talk about a lot of movies, and we have talked about Halloween specials sometimes in the past at Guys Night Lab, but I wanted to focus on some of the specials that happen during Halloween time for the TV shows and movies. Not necessarily like the great, It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, or special one-offs, but I mean like special series and TV shows. TV shows back in the 80s and 90s, I'm sure even in the 70s, but like 2000s, 2010s. It's weird that 2010s is a thing. But yeah, back in the past, I guess you could say, TV shows always had Halloween specials. The Office, Friends, Malcolm in the Middle, Everybody Hates Chris, Bernie Mac Show, 70s Show. A lot of shows had Halloween specials, and I wanted to talk a little bit about them. I'm going to talk a little bit about some certain TV shows that have one-offs and certain TV shows that had reoccurring, concurrent Halloween specials every single year. So right now, let's focus on the TV shows that just had some one-offs. So the first show is That 70s Show. The 70s Show was a show that came out in the late 90s, and it had to do with the teenagers growing up in the 70s and the shenanigans they got to. But the best part of it was they had, what I can remember, maybe they had more, but the two that stood out was the Halloween episodes. They had a show or a Halloween episode where they found their old high school files when they were children, not teenagers, but kids, and they like read them, and they found all these funny dark secrets about them or whatever. So that one was kind of fun. But the better one is I think it's the one that happens the following year, and it's a Hitchcock kind of homage, and a lot of the episode revolves around Hitchcock-esque things happening to every single one of the characters. So there's like there's like the Psycho one, there's like the Birds one, there's the Vertigo one. There's I forget the name of it, but what's the Mistaken Identity? But it's such a fun movie, or the Rear Window one, all this stuff. So it's a fun homage, and it just plays so well with like the characters, and it's funny, and I like it. But yeah, that's one of the great like one-offs for Halloween time. Another great is Everybody Hates Chris. If you've never seen it, it's a great show from Chris Rock, and it's kind of like his story. I'm sure it's not fiction, but it's autobiographical with a little bit of Hollywood twist or whatever. But what I love is that they have the Everybody Hates Chris. He's like kind of 13, and he's too old to trick or treat, so he decides that he wants to go to like a Halloween party. And but then you see like his little brother and sister go trick or treating, and then some pimp takes their candy. And then he's like, it just goes to, I like the episode because it shows the sadness of growing up and not wanting to trick or treat, but wanting to go to like a Halloween party. And so just like the innocence of, innocence lost, in a sense of like, you still like candy. Who doesn't like candy or want to drink, or drink? Who doesn't like candy, and who doesn't want to go out with your friends and trick or treating? But like at a certain point, it's like, you kind of do want to go to a party with your friends and hang out and dance and whatever. So yeah, it's a great episode with just a lot of funny things that happen. Another great one-off is Freaks and Geeks. I don't know if you've ever seen Freaks and Geeks. It kind of has a cult following, but it's an amazing TV show if you've never seen it. It was ahead of its time. It only had one season, and they had a Halloween episode in it, and it's great because it shows that these kids, they're the geeks of the school, and it's so well done. And I think it takes place in like the early 80s, either early 80s or late 70s, and it just shows how like they're, I think, freshmen in high school, and they want to like still enjoy like the trick or treating esque magic of being kind of young and whatnot. But then at the same time, they like there's just like a lot of things that go wrong. And then like at the end of the episode, like a lot of everything just kind of went wrong, and it just kind of shows like once again like that innocence is over. Like not that they wanted to, not that they chose, like, and unlike in Everybody Hates Chris where he thought he was too old to go trick-or-treating, in Freaks and Geeks the geeks kind of are getting pushed out to not being able to trick-or-treat because um, they're just too old. You know, people adults are like, you guys are adult, you guys are teenagers, why are you trick-or-treating XYZ, which is funny because I think now they have like, I think now teenagers trick or treat all the time. I had like teenagers come to my door and I'm like, yo, you're not even wearing a costume. It's like that Simpsons. Yo, you're not even wearing a costume. But it was true. But anyways, but yeah, so Freaks and Geeks is a great one. Community, if you ever seen that show, that's a great little show. That had what they had a couple Halloween episodes, but the best one is when they're telling their ghost stories. In each story, it's kind of having to do with like psychology and like that the idea of like, all right, who's telling the creepiest story or the weirdest story and whatnot. And so we could figure out who like the person with like the most deranged mind or whatnot. They have Family Matters. They have Family Matters has the Dog Day Halloween, which is one of my favorite. My son loves Family Matters, and we love it. It's like Superman or Superman. Steve Urkel dresses up as Superman, and him and Laura go to the bank, and they go to the bank and they're trying. And there's like a bank robbery, and so then he's stuck there, and like all this hilarious slapstick stuff happens, and so that's great. There's a couple other Halloween episodes. The best ones are the ones from the later episode or later seasons of Family Matters. The later seasons aren't that great because it's just all these weird, wacky things happen. But they have two of the best Halloween episodes in like I think the last seasons, like season 7 and season 8. I don't know if they had a ninth season, if they did have a ninth season, then it was season 8 and 9. But it's Stevel, and it's pretty much like a Chucky kind of thing, and it's like super creepy and funny, and it's actually really good. My son, unfortunately, he's 9, and he's like, "No, I don't want to watch it. I'm too scared of it." But yeah, the Stevels. If you haven't seen that on Family Matters, if you like Family Matters, check it out this Halloween. It's great. Fresh Prince had a great it's Halloween couple episodes. It was the Someday Your Prince. It was I think season 1 or maybe 2. It's where Carlton and Will go to the mall to find Halloween dates, and so when they go to the mall, they they find Halloween dates, and like I think Carlton finds a date, but Will doesn't. But then Will kind of does, and it's just it's a fun Halloween episode. But the best one is like the Hex. It's like where what's her name, Hillary has a seance to talk to Trevor, and then Carl Will makes fun of it, and then like the guy puts a hex on Will and the whole family, and all these things happen. So that was good. Um, so those are some good kind of one-offs from like the Halloween TV shows. Friends had some good ones. The Friends like where they all kind of dress up in the Halloween party. I mean, there was The Office. The Office had the couple ones. Obviously, I think season 1, I think it was, or season 2 of The Office, where Michael has to fire someone. That one's obviously funny because you kind of go through everyone. Through all I mean, I'm gonna just firing off through a bunch of TV shows that might have a Halloween episode. And if I miss one, I apologize, but there's just so many, and there's great. One of the things, Stranger Things, one of the things and I think I'm just mentioning certain shows because I love certain parts or certain clips or aspects of it. But like in Stranger Things, there's a Halloween episode where all the boys dress up in Ghostbusters, and I kind of was like. I saw it and I totally related because they're like in middle school, I think, and they're dressing up, and then they're like, oh my gosh, and they all turn around, and it's like an unforeseen thing on the camera, and you're kind of like, oh no, what's this big scary thing that's happening now? and you realize that no one else is dressed up, and it's just like, oh, that's like that hits home because it's one of those things that where you realize that once again that whole growing up, the whole kind of being um, getting too old to dress up, and like my kids have a Halloween parade that they have at their school, and my kids are like 9, 7, and 4, and so they have this like Halloween parade, and so it's like this thing where it's fun and everyone dresses up, and it's like we have a little league game this week and or next week, and they get to dress up for Halloween or the 27th or whatever. Um, but it's like in this, like they're in middle school and they're dressing up, but no one else is dressing up, which kind of shows the whole like, oh, kids are getting older, kids are getting, they're getting too old to dress up or whatnot. So I always thought that scene was funny. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia has a great Halloween episode. Who Got Thee Pregnant? It just shows that whole like trope of different versions of the story, where Mac, Frank, Dennis, and Charlie are talking about their versions of what happened on Halloween night. So that one's always great. There's so many episodes or so many TV shows that you could go to, and I know that I'm just picking a few. It doesn't mean like if I didn't pick yours or you're like, oh, there's one that I can't believe you didn't mention this. Well, I mean, I'm just kind of picking the ones that come to mind for me, or the ones that I know, and the ones that that I love and kind of I've seen a lot or whatever. Um, but like I said, I know there's a ton of episodes. I'm trying to think. Monk, if you ever seen Monk, that's not a comedy, but there's a poison candy in Mr. Monk's Got to Go Find It. Night Court had some great Halloween episodes. If you didn't know Night Court, and where Harry dresses up a Mel Torme, and all these things are happening, and weird things happen in the courtroom or whatever. So that's always great. There's one where like I think Dan, like the devil is like someone says he's a devil, and he's like all these things happen to Dan, but it was just kind of like it was a joke, or someone was just helping him, or not helping him but playing a trick on him. There's so many TV shows from the 80s and 90s and today that like I said, I'm probably missing, and I'm sure I'm missing because there's hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of TV shows that I've missed or haven't talked about, because there's just so many. One thing that came to mind is that The Wonder Years is one of my favorite TV shows, and it has to do with um, kids growing up, and I think in the 60s or 70s, and it's a show that has Halloween, birthdays, seasonal episodes, but there's no Halloween episode. Or sorry, I think I said Halloween. I think Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays, and stuff like that. But there is no Halloween episode, which I always found weird because it's a coming of age story, and there's so many great episodes in that, and you'd think that there'd be something about Halloween in like the 60s or 70s or stuff like that. But no, there is none, unless I'm missing something. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody, correct me, help me out. But I don't think that there are any Halloween episodes for whatchamacallit, the Wonder Years. So, but like I said, there's so many TV shows, so many special episodes that have to do with Halloween. And I know there's a lot of TV shows that I missed, and some of the episodes I don't watch, maybe like Big Bang Theory. I know Superstore had some, but I didn't really watch that one. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, need to watch, or 30 Rock, stuff like that. There's, like I said, there's different episodes or TV shows that have Halloween episodes, and they're great, but I haven't seen them because either I haven't checked out the show, or they just didn't make it onto my list right now because I'm trying to list and flash sale here and fire off just a bunch of Halloween episodes. So anyways, of all these episodes and TV shows, I know there's probably one I missed or two I missed, but don't feel bad because you can always correct me, and not correct me, but you could add some more. You'd be like, oh yeah, this was on there and you didn't talk about it, or this was on there and you didn't talk about it, or blah 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 blah. Help me out. Tell me which ones I missed. Tell me which ones you would put on here. But those are the ones that I would put on for some of my favorite Halloween episodes from TV shows. Now, you might say, I can't believe you talked about this, all these Halloween TV shows, and you didn't talk about the Treehouse of Horror. Well, in my next episode, I'm going to be talking about the Treehouse of Horror and TV shows that had continuous Halloween episodes yearly. And those shows include The Simpsons, obviously, with their Treehouse of Horror, Roseanne, Home Improvement, The Goldbergs, and I think I'm sure there's more, but those are the ones I'm going to be focusing on mainly. So, anyways, happy Halloween. And if you haven't checked out any of these TV shows that have some Halloween-esque episodes, go ahead and check it out. I'm sure some of them are even categorized on your streaming services. But until next time, happy Halloween.